Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric Entertaining series on the MiSTer FPGA DE10 Nano project, and today we're going to be talking about the updated Taito F2 arcade core from Wickerwaka, because it's gotten a lot better since the last time we talked about it, and a lot more games work, including Growl, which is definitely just an unlicensed Indiana Jones beat-em-up simulator. And of course, this board is most famously known for running something like Dino Rex, the best fighting game ever made, featuring dinosaurs called Dino Rex. All jokes aside, this is what the core looks like right now, and if we move back to the original preview video I did on it, the same introductory sequence to Growl, you're going to see absolute graphical insanity in the glitch department. That's just because some of the chips weren't fully strung together in the previous core, but now Growl is going to work 100%. You're going to be able to play the game from start to finish, and you're going to be able to see the credits scroll. Every once in a while there's going to be a couple stray pixels at the bottom of the screen, but otherwise if I didn't point it out to you, you would probably never notice if you were playing the game. And when I say Growl is absolutely a Taito classic, I 100% mean it. It's got everything you need. It's over the top and weird like Taito games are, and now on the work in progress MiSTer FPGA core, it is just working. And like I said, definitely just Indiana Jones right there, even if they didn't have the license for the game. So much so that I'm surprised Lucasfilm didn't come after them when this game actually came out. Somehow it just kind of squeaked under the radar. And when I say this game can be weird as well, wait until you see the final boss, which I'll show you in just a little bit. But just so you know, we're going to be covering multiple games that have improved or started working in the core, so this isn't just a Growl game video, but it could totally be because it is that much fun. But reality is, this is just getting so much better. Wickerwaka is hard at work on this after giving us the IREM M92 and other IREM cores, and that's just awesome to see. But before you ask, this is definitely going to help with other Taito cores as well, because the F2 shares a decent amount of silicon in common with some other boards of the same era that Taito made. Honestly, Taito basically had some real bad ADD when it came to their arcade hardware. They would just create a new board, swap out a few chips and call it a day, and then have a completely new platform. They did that basically the entirety of their existence, all the way through until they switched over to the Type X and Type X2 platforms, where things basically got a little bit more standardized. You might have seen a few glitches there when that eagle flew down and tried to attack Indiana Jones, but otherwise this game is probably like 95% buttoned up. And if you take a look at all of the graphics, outside of a few of those sprite glitches, you really have no idea that this wasn't a finished core whatsoever. And I've always loved that whip can actually back attack enemies as well. It's got a hitbox both forward and backwards, so it is something you want to take advantage of, because this game will throw a lot of characters at you, a lot of sprites, and even though they are just copy paste of themselves, so you can kind of manage that in RAM, it still is a really fun thing just to see like 20 different enemies on screen at once, and you have to defeat each and every one of them. So definitely check Growl out on the new core, and if you're wondering where it is in the pins on the Taito F2 chat on the MiSTer FPGA Discord. Let's move over to Liquid Kids, another game we featured in a previous video, and it would run up until about middle of the second stage, and then all of the sprites would get misaligned and your actual character sprite would end up off the right hand side of the screen, so you would 100% be playing this blind. And if you've never played Liquid Kids before, it basically feels like a pseudo sequel to something like the New Zealand story, with a lot of Parasol Stars vibes in there as well. And the good thing is, I've talked to other people, this game is running so well right now and everything is basically fixed up. You might notice a few stray pixels on the left hand side of the screen every once in a while, but the most important thing is all of the sprite alignments are fixed, and Wickerwaka talked about this over on Discord, just having to fix that alignment up, because you'd basically be maybe like 20 to 30 pixels lower than you should be, then at a certain point in time the screen would stop scrolling and you'd basically end up completely off to the right. If you could beat the game like that, I would be hyper impressed, but that's definitely not how Taito intended you to play the game, so it isn't how it should work in the FPGA core. But as far as the color rendition here and everything else, this just looks like Liquid Kids, and it definitely sounds like it as well, so we'll do a soundtrack sample in just a bit. But you will notice that stray pixel line on the left hand side of the screen only starts when the stage loads up. Once you actually move to the right, nothing else shows up there, so it might be something, it just might be overdraw that would be on the original game as well if you were able to see everything without the bezel for the CRT. But as we move further in, this is what the game used to look like, and you'll see that the player character is just running through things versus actually being atop the items he should be, so that sprite alignment was just off. But I told you that the soundtrack not only is amazing on Liquid Kids, but sounds great in the core, so go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, but come back because I got a great shmup to show you that works. Definitely just sounds like Liquid Kids to me, but leave me a comment down below and you tell me. And again, compared to the previous core, this is so much more improved because you're definitely not supposed to walk off the right hand side of the screen and be able to play the game without actually being on the monitor in and of itself. So this is one, check it out today. I believe you can beat it. Let me know if you played it down below because it is just a classic iconic Taito arcade game, and it is one that I feel like doesn't get as much attention as stuff like Parasol Stars or the New Zealand Story, but it is a ton of fun. And these water bubbles here definitely feel like they're ripped straight out of something like Bubble Bobble or Bubble Symphony, where you have those water bubbles you can kind of just run around the screen. And this gigantic robot bunny here, an Easter bunny in fact, that has a flamethrower in his mouth, 100% something you wouldn't expect the Easter bunny to do, and 100% something that I wish the Easter bunny did do some years, just to see the chaos that would ensue. But all bunny jokes aside, Liquid Kids on the most recent Taito F2 core is 100% improved because your sprite actually stays on the screen, and that definitely is something that's important for your gameplay. But now moving over to one of the weirdest shmups I think I've ever seen. This is Gun Frontier. It's basically what would happen if an old western kind of mixed together with a space shmup at the same time. I don't understand what they were thinking the day that they made this game or decided to concept it, but it 100% works, and it's just legit straight up one of the most confusing shmups around, not in gameplay but just in theming, because you'll see here we're basically what looks like a biplane, and everything starts up straight up like just kind of like a World War II style shmup, but very shortly you're going to start seeing things pop into the game, and they're inexplicably going to be some of the most cognitively dissonant items you've ever seen. If you've ever seen a plane that's made up of two revolvers, you're going to see one very shortly, and that is just straight up weird in all the best ways possible. But this game, I will tell you right now, pulls no punches. It is quite difficult, and the knockback of actually dying is going to be huge. So this is the type of shmup you're going to have to learn it. But you'll see there when that bomb went out, all of that screen scrolling to make that bomb heat effect seemed to be working totally fine. But I have not played Gun Frontier in some years, so if this is one of your favorite games, leave me a comment down below and you tell me whether or not this looks good to you, because I really can't see anything in the image that doesn't look correct. I checked on MAME and everything seemed to be about the same there, so I just don't have all of the details because I've never played an original PCB for this one, oddly enough. And I do love how gigantic these tank gets as well. It's one of those things, a biplane taking on a tank and winning, probably not going to happen in real life, but in a shmup it's 100% a thing that you can just get away with. But trust me, it gets even weirder, and that's why if you've never played this game before, I can't recommend checking it out enough, because in just a moment you're going to see the weirdest plane ever to show up in a shmup in my opinion, and one that I would actually like to see try fly in real life, because it is called Gun Frontier after all, so you have to expect that there's going to be some guns in the frontier, and that's exactly what you're going to get, because as the screen comes up here in just a moment, you're going to see that gigantic double gun plane. I have no idea how it got there, but I love it. But let's move back over to Growl. It's going to be our second soundtrack sample because it's one of my favorite Taito tracks of all time. 35 seconds and I'll be right back. I mean, I've always said that Taito had some of the best arcade music in the business, but Growl's theme right there may be up there with the Rasen Saga 3's theme as far as some of my favorite Taito music ever made. When it comes to the final boss of Growl, it's just gonna go like this. This is the fuck you pay me boss of arcade gaming. Maybe it only took you 4 credits to get to the boss, now it's gonna take you about a dozen just to see the ending. And why is he a clown with claws on him? I have absolutely no idea. Maybe there was a circus in the game. That was Andy D's opinion as well, because he helped with the captures this week. But if you actually just credit feed the hell out of this thing and finally beat him, you're going to be able to see the credits scroll, but not before the clown just starts undulating around the ground inexplicably, because you haven't really seen any mutants up to this point in time, and a giant worm just pops out of him, and that's what's controlling the evil hunters. Why is this happening? I have absolutely no idea. The story in Growl is insane when you get to the end. It's almost like they just borrowed this from a different game they were working on and decided, what the hell, just make a giant clown in there with claws and have a giant worm pop out of his back. I've got no idea why it happens, but but it's one of those things. Sometimes Taito just did whatever the hell Taito felt like, and Dino Rex is definite good evidence of that. If you're wondering, yes, Dino Rex still works in the core, and whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you. But you should definitely install this one and give it a shot, because a lot more games are working, more than I had time to feature this week on the channel, because I have a very busy week going on. My wife is on vacation all week, so I've just been popping into the office and sneaking out some videos now and then. But you'll see we've beaten the game, all of the animals come out of captivity, and this core is definitely just getting that much better, and hopefully soon we'll have another update to it. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me what's your favorite Taito F2 game out there. After that, we're done. We're going to celebrate with these apes banging their chests, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.